This edition of Pick 6 presented by KFAN is all about this year's NFL Scouting Combine. I'm Tatum Everett, and we're here in Indianapolis, so we brought your fan questions on the road. The first one, we tracked down NFL Network insider Eden Rappaport for this question from Laylo Dom. Straight into the conversation with Kirk Cousins. What kind of deal do you think Kirk will sign this upcoming year? And do you think that him signing a 4-year contract is completely out of the question? Here's Ian's answer.
I mean, I don't think anything's completely out of the question. If it makes sense for both sides, certainly a long-term contract would make sense. I'm just not sure it benefits anyone. I mean, Kirk Cousins has, been gainfully employed for a very long time, going what is essentially year to year or 2 years at a time. He has benefited from that. He's re-upped plenty of times. I think the Vikings have benefited from that as well. So I'm not sure I see a scenario where he just takes a long-term deal just to have it, especially at his age. To me, going year to year probably makes most sense for everyone.
Thanks for the insight, Ian. There were several fan questions submitted that had to do with the Vikings quarterback, including this one from Tristan. He asks, should the Vikings take a risk and go after a quarterback for the future in the first round of the draft this year? Another NFL Network insider, Tom Pelissero, answers this one.
Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah is always going to be open to every scenario, including at the quarterback position. But by the time the Vikings pick rolls around at number 23 overall, it is hard to imagine that any of the top quarterbacks are still going to be available.
Thanks, Tom. Maybe the Vikings don't go QB in the first round. However, there are still several needs to be addressed. NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah answers our next fan question from Andrew in Inver Grove Heights. He asks, what's the most important position for the Vikings to fill? Wide receiver 2, cornerback, or interior lineman? Take it away, Daniel.
Those are three great options, but again, I'm going to go to the defensive side of the ball and say corner. This is a passing league. If you want to go chase down a championship, you're going to have to go through a lot of elite quarterbacks and talented offenses. You can't have enough good corners, and it definitely is a need for the Minnesota Vikings.
Thanks, Daniel. Corner is the most popular position on many draft experts' boards right now, and several of our fan questions had to do with defense, including this one from Bryant Coetzer. He asks, who is the best 3-technique defensive tackle in the draft? The Vikings need one that is a great pass rusher. Let's get ESPN's Jordan Reed on this one.
Well, it all starts with Jalen Carter from Georgia. Everybody's seen what he's been able to do on film, but after that, I would go with Brian Bresee from Clemson. Very athletic individual. He can play the 3-technique. He played some 5-technique during his time with the Tigers. After that, I will go with Keanu Benton from Wisconsin. He's another that's probably a day 2 guy right now, but as far as explosiveness and being able to penetrate the first level of the line of scrimmage, he definitely would get my vote.
That was a great answer, Jordan. We're now in front of Radio Row here at the NFL Combine, and I have our next fan question. It's from Dustin in Richfield. He asks, at what point do the Vikings draft their QB of the future? With the limited picks in the 23 draft and the need for defensive help, I think they will have to wait until 2024 to draft him. NFL Network analyst Bucky Brooks weighs in on question number 5.
Dustin, the Vikings can absolutely find their quarterback of the future in this draft, but it'd have to be a mid-round pick. Coming off the fascination of watching what other teams have done, like Brock Purdy, I think there may be a guy that fits the Minnesota Vikings, and his name may be Tanner McKee from Stanford. Tanner McKee is a veteran player, a guy who has 2 years of starting experience on the farm, and he kind of fits that profile that you look for. Big-time arm talent, super smart, has developmental potential. I think Coach O'Connell may like working with Tanner McKee because he has a lot of intriguing traits and intangibles to be a starting quarterback in this league.
Thanks, Bucky. We've now moved inside Lucas Oil Stadium where this weekend's Combine will take place. And that leads us to our final Pick 6 question, and that is coming to us from Chet. He wants to know, how will we fix this massive cap issue and still be able to upgrade positions? We got NFL Network analytics expert Cynthia Freeland to answer this one.
Well, the good news is, Chet, and I love the name Chet, that's a very fun one, you have a really great GM and a really great coach. So the cap is an issue for everyone, and restructuring contracts is a pretty normal thing. Luckily, you don't have to restructure some of the key positions, and you do need to save up for that guy that likes to catch the ball. So you will have to figure that one out because you're not going to not pay Justin Jefferson eventually. But I think it's all about restructuring and paying the right positions. And if I had to say someone that I trust to do it, it's definitely your GM.
Thank you, Cynthia. You can catch our one-on-ones with those Pick Six experts located on Vikings.com or the Vikings app. Stick with those platforms for everything you need to know leading up to free agency and through the 2023 NFL Draft.